Welcome to the Oasis. My name's Mike, and today I'm going to be talking about the Oculus Quest. Now, it's been almost 3 months now since the Quest launched, so today I'm going to be asking the question, did this standalone VR headset live up to the hype? I'm also going to give you my opinion on this headset and my thoughts where I think standalone VR is headed in the future. I hope you enjoy this one, and without further ado, let's dive in. Okay, so the Oculus Quest launched on the 21st of May 2019, and the hype around this headset before the launch was insane. It reminded me of the buzz and excitement around the original Oculus Rift Kickstarter campaign way back in 2012. Now, the reason why this headset got people so excited is that it was offering a true VR experience in a standalone headset. And what I mean by that is that it offered 2 fully tracked 6 degrees of freedom controllers and a fully tracked 6 degrees of freedom headset, without the need of external sensors or being tethered to an expensive and powerful PC. The Quest was, and still is, the first standalone VR product of its kind. Sure, there's the Vive Focus with the optional extra 6 degrees of freedom controllers coming soon, but this headset is aimed at the enterprise market and is twice the price of the Quest. Prior to the Quest, of course, we had the Oculus Go, which was also a standalone headset, but was limited to a single 3 degrees of freedom controller and 3 degrees of freedom headset tracking. This meant the Go was ideal for seated VR experiences or consuming media, but couldn't provide the room-scale VR experience that people really wanted. With the Quest, it removed many of the big barriers of entry for many consumers out there interested in virtual reality. No more complicated setup, no more expensive computers, no more additional accessories like cable extensions and USB expansion cards to get the best experience out of your headset. You simply just put the headset on and within seconds, you're in VR. It's so simple even your grandmother could figure it out. The Quest offered players the ability to move freely, completely untethered in a physical play space, and even could track beyond room scale, all in an affordable and easy to use package. And this, quite rightly so, is why people got so excited. The Quest launched with 2 models, a 64GB model at $399 and a 128GB model at $499. Both of these models sold out at online retailers within the first week, causing consumers to travel far and wide to collect headsets from stores that had them in stock. Now, although we don't have any official sales figures, Andrew Bosworth from Facebook stated that they sold $5 million worth of content within the Quest's first 2 weeks on sale. Now, this is probably due to the strong launch lineup of over 50 apps and games. My personal highlights of that lineup include Vader Immortal, Beat Saber, and SUPERHOT. Looking at the Oculus Quest app installs on iOS and Android, which is required for the Oculus Quest initial setup, indicate 130,000 installs across both mobile devices in the month of July. And this data was provided from sensortower.com. But with these figures, we have to take into account that Oculus Go users use the same app for its setup. But with that in mind, I would speculate and say that the Oculus Quest has probably sold around 300,000 units in the first 3 months, which, if that's correct, would be pretty impressive considering it took the Rift a year to achieve 400,000 headset sales. Of course, this is all speculation, and hopefully during Oculus Connect 6 this September, Oculus will give us the official numbers during their keynote. So sales numbers aside, did the Oculus Quest meet my expectations? In short, yes, and in fact, it exceeded them. I actually find myself using the Quest a lot alongside my PC VR headsets such as the Oculus Rift S and the Valve Index. Of course, using a powerful PC and a PC VR headset is going to look better, tracking will be more precise, and you have access to a broader range of content. However, the feeling of immersion that the Quest can provide is the same. For example, I played through Vader Immortal first on the Oculus Quest and then later again when it released on Rift. And although it looked better on the Rift S, the experience was essentially the same in terms of content and interaction. When you compare the prices of a PC VR headset and factor in a powerful enough PC to run it, you're talking in the factor of 3 to 4 times the price of the Quest. So in that sense, the Quest offers very good value for money for what it can offer. That doesn't mean that the Quest isn't without its issues though. The Quest is a very front-heavy headset, which to be honest isn't a big problem for me now that I use various accessories to make the experience more comfortable, which I covered in my Oculus Quest accessory video. But I know some people still find it uncomfortable for prolonged VR sessions. But just like the comfort, the audio, battery life, controller grips, and head strap can all be modified to your liking with a wide range of accessories. Overall, the Quest does many more things right than it does wrong. As an introduction to VR, it eases you in with some excellent first-time experiences, such as First Steps, First Contact, and BOGO. Even being a VR veteran, the Quest had me in awe the first time I used the headset at home. Dancing and spinning around with a robot in the Quest version of First Steps was a magical moment I'll never forget. And it's moments like this that surprised me what a standalone, mobile chipset-powered headset could offer. Even before its launch, I underestimated what was possible with the Quest. I used to get a lot of questions about custom Beat Saber support, or if the Quest would be able to be used with Steam VR. And my answer would always be that it would be unlikely, and not to bank on it. And I was pleasantly surprised to be completely wrong about this. It only took a matter of weeks before custom Beat Saber tracks were working, and people were streaming PC VR content from Steam to their Quests wirelessly using RiftCat, ALVR, and Virtual Desktop. And the community around this headset just completely exploded. The Oculus Quest subreddit has been a valuable source of information, with almost 30,000 members sharing modifications, tips, reviews, and gameplay, and I highly recommend you go check it out for the latest Quest information and news. Now, I know many people in the PC master race will be turning their noses up right now at the thought that the Quest is offering a similar VR experience to their PC-powered headsets, but I would urge them to just go try it out. It's hard not to be impressed by the Oculus Insight tracking system and the liberating feeling of being completely untethered. One of my all-time favorite VR games, SUPERHOT, is much better played on the Quest due to not having to worry about tripping over that bloody cable. But the biggest issue I feel right now with the Quest is nothing to do with the hardware itself. It's the content. The 50 plus apps and games that launched with the headset have likely been played to death, and users are craving new content. And that's what VR really needs right now. Experiences that keep bringing people back to their headsets time and time again that they can't experience anywhere else. I know it's like a chicken and the egg situation. You need a healthy player base for VR game development to be profitable for developers, and you need compelling experiences for the player base to keep coming back. And this is why I think Oculus is one of the very few companies that can actually pull something like this off. They're owned by Facebook, who are funding a lot of the VR game development right now and really kickstarting the VR industry. And whether you're a fan of Facebook or not, no other company right now, with the exception of Sony with the PSVR, are pushing VR forward in the same way by funding game development. Valve, HTC, and Pimax are making the hardware, but without supporting the game development, you simply have an expensive headset with no content. And we know from the gaming industry as a whole, content is king. With the Quest, this is the first time Oculus have been strict about app and game submissions to the store, providing users with a more curated store experience. And I think this is both a blessing and a curse. It's great that you can be almost guaranteed to have a good experience if you buy something from the Oculus Store, which is the same way that Sony operate with the PSVR. But on the flip side, some gems get caught in the net and don't see the light of day on Quest, which is a real shame. Now, there's arguments for and against this approach, and overall, I'm more for it. What we definitely don't want is the situation we currently have with the Rift Store, in that most of the content released is absolute garbage. Thankfully, we do have another option though, and that is SIDEQUEST. This has become the Oculus Share for the Quest. Oculus Share launched with the original Oculus Rift DK1 and was a place for developers to post their concept and game ideas for the community to try out. Some of the experiences were completely crazy, but it pushed the envelope and promoted innovation. We have some amazing experiences available on SIDEQUEST, and if you own a Quest, I would really encourage you to go and sideload some content, such as Crisis Brigade, the Half-Life mod, and Tea for God. All of these are incredible experiences. experiences. Now, Oculus are addressing the issue of content themselves in some interesting ways. For example, they recently announced that they will be providing emulation for Oculus Go games. So this opens up a big catalogue of Go titles, soon to be able to be played on the Oculus Quest. Some of the Go highlights, in my opinion, are Augmented Empire, Coaster Combat, and Hero Bound. Hopefully we'll also get the great social experience that is Oculus Rooms and the nostalgia-inducing Oculus Arcade. I'm also convinced that Oculus are working on their own PC to Quest service to enable full Oculus Rift titles from Oculus Home to be streamed to Quest over a fast Wi-Fi connection or USB-C tether, as it works just fine using third-party sideloaded applications with SteamVR, so it would surprise me if Oculus don't want to get in on the action themselves. And this kind of leads me nicely into where I think the future of the Oculus Quest lies. I believe the Quest will be supported for a long time to come, and I think we have at least another year to wait until we even see a glimpse of a true Quest sequel. However, I do think it's possible a Quest Pro or a Quest S could release in the interim with a faster Snapdragon processor, which would reduce the need for such heavy foveated rendering in some games. It's clear that for Oculus to achieve its goal to get 1 billion people into VR, that standalone devices like the Quest are going to be incredibly important, as it's clear that this is what the masses want. However, it would be unwise of them just to pursue standalone, as that would alienate the long-time supporters on PC who really want the cutting edge. Personally, I think it would be interesting to see the next iteration of the Quest to be both standalone and PC capable. Imagine it to be like the Nintendo Switch of VR. A headset running on a mobile chipset that can be taken anywhere with you on the go, but if you have a PC at home, it can rely on the PC hardware to push it to the max for the best possible VR experience. This way, Oculus could streamline their hardware development and focus on one headset that can do both instead of working on two separate products. I think that would be super interesting. Either way, I think the Oculus Quest is a flagship product that will likely start a trend of manufacturers making their own standalone VR devices. However, with Oculus being the first to market, having a great library of content, and pricing the device at such a low price, it will make them a difficult company to compete with. Okay, so there we have it. That's my thoughts on the Oculus Quest after 3 months. Personally, I think it's a solid VR headset, which I would wholeheartedly recommend if you're looking to jump into the world of virtual reality. I think one day we'll look back at the Quest as a major milestone in the tipping point of VR mainstream adoption. But of course, let me know what you think in the comments down below. This is all just my opinion, and I encourage you to share your own. Leave a like if you like this video, make sure you're subscribed for all my future content, and as always, I'll see you on the next one. Cheers.